Really probably the one injury update to make you guys aware of. Paulson Adebo looks like he's got a broken femur, so I don't know if that was announced during the game or not. So that was, and then Lattimore's got a hamstring. Those were the two injuries I think were guys. Nick Saldiveri, shoulder. Those were the three where guys weren't able to come back into the game and play. I think, you look at this game and there was nothing complimentary about the game. In particular, early on in the game, we weren't really able to get anything going offensively. Defensively, we allowed them to have too many long drives. And so, therefore, in the first half, I think the time of possession was out of whack. It kind of got a little bit more balanced up as the game went along, but I think that's been a challenge for us. I think we're not winning the line of scrimmage on either side of the ball. I think that's a challenge for us right now. And so, look, we've got, obviously a few days here before we have to play again. We'll go out to L.A. Next week, and we've got to find a way to put our guys in the best position to have some success, and we got to find a way to play better football. And so it's been disappointing. Obviously, look, injuries play a part of it, but we've got to find a way to play better.
Richard Sherman had some pretty harsh words for the team on the broadcast at halftime. He said it doesn't look like they want to tackle. It doesn't look like they're putting in any effort. You said last week you still believe in the effort of this team. Do you believe that after watching the last 6 quarters?
Yeah. I don't agree with him.
So you think that the team was – there was no quit at any point?
No.
He also went on to say that the defense was playing like a team that, quote, wants its head coach fired. Is it something that you are concerned about at this time?
No.
Dennis, what is the response, though? A lot of people watch this game. That word quit, I've probably never heard it so many times. And it doesn't necessarily mean quit. It could mean spirit broken, snowball. But, we have not seen – you mentioned your track record earlier this week. We've never seen the defense have 2 performances like this in a row. What does lead to that?
Yeah. Look, I think as coaches and as players, we have to do a better job. We got to do a better job throughout the week. Our preparation, we're making mistakes that we shouldn't be making, and allowing guys to get free. Again, the part of the run game is we have to do a better job of winning the line of scrimmage. That's where it all starts. We have to do a better job of getting off of blocks. And we have to do a better job of tackling. And so I think us as coaches and players all alike, we've got to figure it out.
Are there bigger concerns like belief, buy-in that you're worried about right now?
No. Well, look, it's hard when you lose 5 in a row. And then when you look at all the injuries on top of it and it makes it a lot more challenging, and so I think our guys are fighting, and yet the results aren't showing.
One of the things that Mickey Loomis said a few days ago, I think it was last week, was that they don't necessarily want to pay attention to the results, insinuating that it's more about the process. How would you evaluate the process right now, away from the results that you've seen over the last 5 years?
Well, look, I think it's still got to improve. And again, look, I get it. We have to play better. And I think guys are trying. I think guys are working. We're dealing with a lot of injuries right now, and it's not an excuse. Okay, I don't want anybody to misconstrue that as an excuse. But it is part of it is an issue for us. And I think all of us are trying to fight through that.
Dennis, have you ever experienced so many injuries? I know you had a couple
No.
before.
No, I think I don't know what that number is in terms of amount of missed time, for guys and critical pieces to our team. But it's the nature of the game that we play.
You mentioned a couple weeks back about gathering information about the injuries to see if there was anything that have you been.
I don't think we've been able to put our thumb on one individual thing that's that's caused these things. I think it's, it's kind of one of those years.
Dennis, the inability to stop the run, especially between the tackles, you mentioned getting beat at the line of scrimmage, was that a problem that you had maybe seen coming in the offseason? Is something got to address, or would you say?
No, I don't think that's something that as we went through the course of training camp and everything, that I felt like that was going to be a major issue for us. But it's become that. It's become that really probably over the last, 2 or 3 weeks. It's each and every week it's kind of gotten a little bit, not as good.
Is that fixable with current personnel?
I think it is. I definitely think it is. And we got to get back to the fundamentals and technique.
This isn't related to the question of effort, but when you have that many injuries, can it be demoralizing to the team? Especially
Yeah, it can be. It can be.
Debo, when he goes out like that.
Yeah, it can be. It certainly can be. And that's something that we have to be able to fight through, and that's the tough part of our league is seeing things like that. But yeah, it can be difficult, sure.
Why did Spencer Rattler leave the game after 2 minute warning?
He got I think maybe a hip pointer, and at that time I didn't want to leave him in there. I wanted to, put Jake in there. I didn't want to risk him getting hurt any further.
What was the biggest problem he faced?
I think just the pressure. They sent a lot of pressure at him, gave him some different looks, things that we kind of, not maybe the exact certain look, but they did a lot of the things that we kind of expected that they would do, and so I think we had some opportunities in the passing game. We dropped a few balls. Certainly the sacks were an issue, and part of that's protection, part of that's him being able to get the ball out. I mean, I think there's a combination of things. So
obviously you have 10 days to decide, but because of the way you dealt with Jake and Spencer, I mean, Jake doing that in the last 2 minutes?
yeah, look, that was good to see. I think I certainly wouldn't put all this on Spencer Rattler for sure. I mean, I think there's a supporting cast around him that has to play better. But look, I think we'll evaluate the tape. We'll look at it and see what we think we need to do, and then we'll have a plan moving forward.
Do you think it's possible that Derek Carr and or Taysom Hill could both be back for Los Angeles?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think it's probably more likely that Taysom would be ready before Derek. But look, we got 10 days, so let's kind of let that play out a little bit and see where we're at there.
Alvin was shown on the video board kind of before halftime, and it looked like he was kind of yelling at the sideline. Was he particularly?
I don't know.
Then, could you explain the sequence right before half, like just taking the knee or taking time out?
Well, look, we shouldn't have taken the time out, is what we shouldn't have done. But we had 2 plays to try to see if we couldn't create something, and then, after having a couple of check downs and some pressure on the quarterback, it was like, let's take a knee, let's get out of the half, let's regroup and come back out. We get the ball to start the second half. So I think initially the thought was, can we get a chunk play and maybe have an opportunity to create something? But if not, then let's get out of the half.
Did you call the timeout or did the player?
I'm not sure exactly who called the timeout, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if it was called on the field or not.
Dennis, you guys talked about Bo Nix's ability to do things outside of the pocket. He wasn't sacked today. He got outside and ran for 75 yards. Was that what you expected, and why wasn't that? Why weren't you able to corral that?
Well, I think the big play was the short yardage crack toss play where they had the numbers over there. It was a good play by them, good design, and that was probably their biggest play. And look, I felt like we had a few times that we had free runners on the quarterback, and he's athletic. He made a play. He made us miss. So, but that was certainly something that we were, aware of, and probably needed to do a better job of, managing that.
If players are frustrated by this hit, how do you manage that?
Yeah, you got to stand up and lead. That's what you have to do. You have to stand up and lead, and that's what I have to do. That's what our coaches have to do. That's what the leaders on our team have to do, because we're the only ones that can get us out of this. Okay, nobody. It's not like we're going to have a draft in the middle of the season. You know, nobody's going to be coming in here to be the savior. We're going to have to do it ourselves, and you know, hopefully we'll begin to get some guys back, because look, early on in the season, we played good football, so I know this team has it in them. Okay, I got 2 tapes that show me that this team has good football in them, and it's got good coaching in them, but right now we're not playing that way. And obviously, there's multitude of reasons why, and we got to figure out how to get back to playing that type of football, because I've seen it done. I've seen what it looks like.
With a Devo, does that type of injury require like emergency surgery?
I think he's going to have surgery tonight. Yeah.
And then Rashid Shaheed, just what is his loss due for?
Well, look, I mean, it's another playmaker. You know, I mean, we got our rookie quarterback out there with, you know, some, you know, backup players on the offensive line playing in front of him, and the 2 primary receivers are, you know, out of the game. So that you know, it's another challenge that you have to overcome, you know, as a young player. And so he's an explosive element to our offense. He's an explosive element to our team, the special teams, you know, so yeah, that's a big loss.
Dennis, the approach the next few days, do you turn the screws on the team?
No, here's the approach. The approach is that we're gonna come back in on Monday, which would be a Thursday night kind of schedule. All right, Monday's gonna be like a normal day after the game Monday. I want guys to get some rest. I want guys to get some recovery. I want them to get their bodies back. The guys that are injured are going to be spending the weekend in here getting themselves healthy. And then we'll start planning for, you know, the Chargers. But I think over the next few days, I know for me and for the coaches, you know, I think we just got to look at, you know, everything that we're doing and where we're at and how we can help our guys be better. That's what we got to do as coaches.
Will you spend more time in the offices than you do on a normal Thursday schedule?
No, but we're going to be working. You know, it's easy to work remote now. I'm going to go see my son in Savannah.
Was Kendrick Miller on a snap count in this game, and what did you think he was?
I thought he played well. I thought the plays, you know, when we handed him the ball, I thought he did some good things. I wish he would have caught the one ball over the middle. But I was impressed with what I saw out of Kendra. I think that's a guy that can help us. Okay, guys, thanks.